Welcome everyone to our next webinar on our series. Today we're going to talk about cybersecurity, how to protect yourself from digital threats that are out there. It's an increasing problem. The last couple of years, I'm sure all of you have heard, it's a big issue. So we want to give you some tips and tricks to help you out. I'm joined by Andrew Randisi and Christopher Mallon. They're both certified financial planners here at PCM. Chris, take it away.
All righty. We're off. So cybersecurity, protecting your digital self. And for the first time, we have an animated cover slide here. So, very impressive on our end for a cybersecurity one. All right. So the most common one we are seeing today, and that a lot of our clients here at PCM have, made us aware of, that they've experienced or seen, is the imposter scam. This is also probably the most successful scam we've seen lately. This is when an individual or groups of individuals sometimes will impersonate either a financial institution or a technical institution. We've heard a lot more lately of people impersonating, Apple, Microsoft, as well as, the more common ones that you've seen historically are the IRS or banks and financial institutions. They essentially will call you and will try to get information out of you. So Apple will call and need your Apple ID. And then they will say, okay, we need your password for that. Oh, we need your credit card information because we think you've been hacked. So that's a lot of what they're prompting the call for. They will call trying to get more information out of you, saying that you're being hacked while they are the ones doing the defrauding. Typically, they're looking for, your social security number, account numbers, wire transfers, things like that. All right, Leslie's going to run through some ways to protect yourself.
Yes, so here's some things to keep an eye out for. Does the email message contain poor grammar, misspellings? That's often very common, either in the text of the email message or even in the link that they provide. So watch out for that, misspellings and grammar mistakes. Are you being directed to a website that seems unusual? Sometimes they will use a name, like they would say lesliebach.com. Clearly that's not my PCM email address. So keep an eye out for that. Were you contacted by a means that is not normally how you're contacted? If somebody normally contacts you by email and you're suddenly being contacted by text, and that's unusual, keep an eye out for that. And most importantly, and this is huge, don't click on links. That's one of the main ways they infect your computer is the link. If you click on the link, suddenly they're in your computer. So don't click on links from anything that seems at all suspicious.
Additional steps to be aware of. Like Leslie and Chris were saying before, no reputable financial institution will ever call you, request your account credentials, photo ID, or proof of address for documentation. Never give away your one-time passcode, your password, or two-factor authentication login code, or any security question and answer to anyone else. No financial institution will ever contact you via a free email account, such as a Yahoo or Gmail messaging app, or send you a social media connection request. No financial institution will ever call you requesting your account information or pressure you into initiating a money transfer. Always verify the recipient of the person and the source where you're sending money to. And then last but not least, don't click on any links or open attachment that looks suspicious from any emails.
The next, and this is probably more common than the imposter one, this is a phishing scam. So I would think of imposter as more directed towards an individual. Typically, the group will have some information on you already. So they will call you, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, we see your subscription to X, Y, and Z is about to expire. Would you like to renew it today? Oh, great. And then they can get a bunch of information from you that way. Phishing is more of something that they could almost cast a wide net. Give you an example. My wife got an email the other day from trafficviolations.net. And it just said, you have a speeding ticket to a car registered in your name, pay the $250 fine here. And she sent me a picture of it. She's like, is this spam? I was like, yes, please delete. So that's probably what to look out more for. Phishing is going to be almost always it's a link somewhere to click and log into a site that might look like a site you're familiar with. It might even be like a Microsoft one. Click here, it'll look similar to it, but slightly different. Get your login info. They'll steal that and then be able to use it for, opening up new lines of credit, things like that.
Don't take the bait. Ignore deals, freebies, and awards that sound too good to be true. Disregard offers that appear to come from unusual foreign contacts, as well as requests from strangers for help. So when they offer you that, when they call offering that free trip to Bermuda or Jamaica or the Bahamas, probably is not a real thing. Ignore phone calls, emails, or texts that appear to be from the IRS. The agency is not going to contact you by phone, email, text, or social media. They like to send their love letters in the mail. Be suspicious of anyone requesting your social security number, date of birth, or financial account number, PIN, email, or passwords, especially if there is a request to verify information that you were not expecting it. Never click or download a link or attachment inside an unsuspecting email. If the email claims to be from a company you do business with, don't log in from a link in the email message. Go directly to the company's website and log into your account from there. And then last but not least, never provide personal information over the phone to an unsolicited caller. If you think the caller might be a legitimate request from a company you do business with, hang up, call back the company directly.
I have a little additional note on the IRS one, because I have a friend that actually got she got caught in the IRS one. She believed that it was the IRS. And just to kind of reiterate what Andrew said, the IRS is not going to call you. They send letters, regular letters through the mail. And the other thing is the IRS isn't going to pressure you to make a decision in an hour, which is what happened to my friend. They said you have to decide by the end of the day. If you pay it today, your penalty will be less. So she got freaked out and said, "Sure, I'll save on the penalty. I'll do it today." The IRS is not going to do that to you. They give you time to contact your CPA, to contact a lawyer, to help you. If there really is an IRS issue, the IRS will give you time to respond and handle it appropriately. So if anybody ever pressures you to make a decision or do something quickly, that's a big red flag too.
Yeah, I think the unsolicited phone call part is very important. I think I can't think of any group that would call anyone needing additional information from you over the phone. If a bank's calling you and then is asking you for your account info and everything, they already have that. So if they're calling you without not being prompted to, that is a major red flag. And almost always, even the IRS financial institutions, they operate via the mail. If I get a notice from my mortgage company about something, it comes in the mail. They don't call me out of the blue saying they need X, Y, or Z. And then finally, monitor and secure your online accounts. So this is some, kind of more proactive stuff you can do on the front end. Choose passwords that can't be guessed easily. Use different passwords for different websites and change them regularly. And use sign up for a two-factor authentication at financial institutions and email service providers to protect all your online accounts. I know two-factor is kind of a frustrating, annoyance along the way. However, it can make a huge difference. If someone gets your login and password and you don't have two-factor set up, they can get right in. With that, they would also need access to your phone, which is significantly harder to get access to. And then make sure your financial institutions have up-to-date contact information for you, especially your mobile number. This is how they verify who you are. So you'll be on, say you will call your bank and sometimes they'll verify you're not impersonating, yourself. They'll send you a code to your phone that you would have to get back to them. So make sure they have the right number there. Another important one, sign for automated alerts of suspicious activity wherever offered. Funny story here, my father is addicted to getting automated alerts for any sort of activity for things. So someone will log in to Netflix and he'll text the whole family within about 10 seconds saying, somebody logged in, have we been hacked? And it's like, no, it was me. I'm at, someone else's house. So that's so he's on top of it, but a good thing to have. Another one is check your credit report regularly. On your credit report, you will see if any new loans have been taken out in your name. This is a common one for scammers out there. Instead of They won't necessarily just take your money with your name and social security number and some general, address info. They could go out and take a loan out in your name. That's a pretty common one, and you will be able to see anything that looks funny pop up on your credit report. A lot of these credit agencies are pretty proactive about it, and they can identify things that are that seem out of character. But it's another thing to look at. And you can check this whenever you want. You get free copies every year from the various credit agencies. And then another thing is to make sure you are updating your computer, iPhones, Androids regularly. They come out with updates all the time, and a lot of them are to cover, potential security breaches that hackers have figured out over the last, several months. And then they have to keep coming out with updates to patch those. And another one is to run an antivirus software on your computer and mobile devices. This will go ahead and sweep through your computer, get rid of, things like malware, different things that just can kind of accumulate over time in your computer. So very good to run those and clear out the viruses.
Yeah, and I'll just reiterate your point about apply updates to your phone and to your laptop, because I know it's annoying. You get the pop-up that says we need to run updates right now on your phone or your laptop, and everybody just wants to click do it later. But the problem is you're leaving yourself vulnerable to attacks, because oftentimes they're releasing these patches because they've been made aware that there's a vulnerability.
Right. I'd say that's almost the primary reason why they put it out. They usually say like bug fixes, and then it's mostly security.
Yeah,
is what they try to keep up to date.
Do them right away.
Yeah. I think that may be it.
I have two other points that I recently read about. One is apparently fraudsters are maintaining they call them suckers lists. So if you've been hit once, you're on the list now, and they will try to come back at you again because they know they've successfully broken into your system in the past.
Right.
So if you've already been hit once, just be keep your vigilance up. You might be attempted to be breached again.
Yeah, I think a big part to piggyback on that is once your information is taken once, a lot of times those people will kind of make almost like a basket of all these different people's information, and then they will sell that to various groups. So then it kind of spreads all over. Is a main reason why you want to protect yourself on the front end, because once it gets out there, it can be passed around. Like Leslie said, I mean, you'll get a lot more spam calls coming in.
Yeah, true. And then the second one that I've read about is oftentimes people that are recently divorced or widowed are often targets. They will even keep track of obituaries and that kind of stuff, and they will go after somebody whose spouse has recently died because they know you're vulnerable and scared and overwhelmed potentially, and maybe not paying attention to things as closely as you should. So
Right.
Just beware of that if you've gone through a major life event like that might make you a little more vulnerable.
Yep. And if it feels weird, I would just say just hang up the phone, and then
Yes.
or don't pick it up. Let somebody leave you a voicemail, and then at least go from there.
Exactly. And always feel free to reach out to us here at PCM. We're happy to help. If you're suspicious at all about an email, we can hop on a Zoom with you, and you can show us the email from your account, and we'll say, looks good, go for it, or stay away, delete it. So please reach out to us if we can help. And then my last point I want to make too is that if this happens to you, don't carry shame around it. It is so common. Every one of us at PCM either has a friend or a family member who this has happened to. It's very common.
Mhm.
So if it happens to you, reach out, ask for help, and we're here to help. Any other comments, guys, before we wrap up?
I'm all good.
Okay, great.
All right.
Thanks everybody for joining us. Reach out to PCM if we can help with anything. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.